back everyone to Choice of Robots, and if you're wondering why it says Chapter 7 instead of, I believe, Chapter 5, War of the Machines, apparently my flash drive disconnected while it was converting all the stuff into a better file because I don't keep any of the files on my actual computer. And unfortunately it corrupted it. So I'm just going to give us a recap. We created Transformers. We made robots that are more than meet the eye, obviously. We created Optimus Prime, and unfortunately we had to turn Bumblebee into a Hummer, unfortunately. We got more than one robot, Tipsy, because we decided to build our dream robot, the Sexbot. We married a robot. We got more than 3 achievements in a row. We got Canuck. We got a top secret clearance. We created a building. We got married a spouse twice because we broke up with our old girlfriend. Who was her name again? Tammy. Because she wanted to, well, yeah, let's see here. Oh, that's right. She wanted us to remove her name from the system. She got caught, we were in the room, and we decided to evacuate before shit got real. We sent one of our friends to a concentration camp. We gave our robots taste buds. We had a good night with our new robot, which is named Cleo, which is the name right here. And what else am I missing? Just using these things to remind it. Oh, we also got super rich. Like ridiculously rich. We also increased our military a lot. Our empathy is ridiculous, and our grace is good, and our autonomy is good. So let's see the ways to say goodbye. Let's do this. 15 years later, you find yourself in Surprise, Arizona, walking up to your mother's house. A few couches in front of have Santa hats on them. It is the year 2049, and you are able to surprise your mother with a present for the holidays. She has finally been released from the hospital after surgery performed by robots of your design, you're proud to note, and is living on her own in a retirement community. Robots roam the streets of New York performing little errands for retired people of the community. Economists say the technology that Americans there for the war 20 years ago was also kept it out of recession, and your mother was able to retire comfortably with a lot of cheap robots to perform the errands from their old age. What do you get your mom? 3D printer so she can send and receive objects over the internet. You know what? She deserves a car. You feel bad for mom that she was never goes anywhere anymore. You find a good deal on a Nimbus online. Maybe she'll visit you, like you knock on your door, coming, you hear your mom from the inside. When your mom answers the door, you see her left eye is synthetic. Though it's intended to look as human as possible, it looks dry and the movements aren't quite as fast as those of the human eye. She has been going blind in that eye and had opted to have it replaced shortly after her tumor was taken out, not A. The hair near the site of original surgery is a little dry and thin and is all grayed. Your mother's very old. Wait, did I just give her a flying car like a bus to crash on her? I hope I didn't. Please don't do this. Instead, you find your mother's cleaning bots still busy purring around the house cleaning up. They look like little cats and mice designed to move as if one is prowling after another, which in fact the mouse is more practically stealing the large crumbs before the cat vacuums. This was Ejai's original die. He had worked on a product designer for a robot company in Canada. You hope he's doing well. Photos of your wedding day would clear or framed on the wall. Following your mother's gaze, you said, "Can you believe how long it's been? The years go by quickly," you agree. "But you're still as love in the day. More," you say. You should have brought Cleo down. Next time. Did you adopt a child? Yeah. What was his name? Geppetto. Near the photo of one of the of you are photos of Geppetto. God damn it, I didn't capitalize. Shortly after being born, there are more as Geppetto turns 1, 2, 4, 6. How's little Geppetto doing? Now, your mom asks, you're sending him to a transitional school rather than doing air learning. A little bit of both. You can't quite give up the idea that it's good to travel from the interaction with other children face to face, but I think J.O. does learn a lot more from the internet. We're doing one of those part-time schooling things, lights on the hours. Pinocchio loves to teach too. We do that a lot. It occurs to you that though all this stuff with your mom, the whole time you were concerned over your future career, Pinocchio, mom was decided for you in the same way. You were her creation, miraculously walking on the earth, so full of intelligence, accomplishing great things. I have something for you too, Mom says. She goes to her closet first, a brand new mini Me robot kit. It was a robot construction composed of little wheels and arms that plug into a smartphone. You examine this kit to convince your mom it's got something on sale that only worked for smartphone 20 years ago, but it looks new. It's not really for you, it's for Geppetto, Mom says. I don't know whether he likes robot, but if he is anything like you or your father, he will. Thanks, you say, but the implement is you turned out pretty well. Not that you expect anything less from Mom. I think you appreciate it. Anyways, I gotta go fly back now. Happy holidays, Mom. You hug your mom, press the flying car, she loves it. Present the flying car, she loves it, but she thinks she won't let you know if she didn't, and says goodbye. Later that day, you set up for home. Your personal intelligent jet is waiting for you at the local airfield. On board are delicious smelling of spices and smoke wafting from the plate's kitchen. You peek inside the chef's workspace and catch sight of a plate of small cream-filled pastries and some kind of red dazzled sauce. But the robot chefs catch you peeking and politely shoo you out. We have replaced everyone with robots. What have we done? Content to work until later to have your food vocabulary expanded, as it's always in on this flight. You rather sit on a ladder, comfy care in the passenger cabin. The surround screen descends and presents a wealthy entertainment option, and you hesitate before the choice. Choosing optimally is a task you take very seriously, after all. It's hard to believe it's not long since you left Canada. You still feel a little like an astronaut, not quite American, not quite kind of Canadian. Canada feels just a little laid back, maybe because everyone knows that the world doesn't come to an end when somebody stuck home for a snow day. But that kind of sleepiness doesn't sit well with you, and you wonder if you would have accomplished more if you stayed surrounded by the hyperkinetic drive of Silicon Valley again. It's dark out by the time you make it home. Winter always catches you by surprise. You live in a large state, somewhat squelched by the urbanites, and with acres of land that for you and your robots to roam as you please. Welcome home, you hear Cleo from the dining room. You enter to find Cleo has laid out a sumptuous feast for you on the dining table. Lit candles, wine glasses, some kind of bird that looks like it's real instead of 3D printed meat. We can print meat in the future. Well, vegans can't say shit anymore. Several kinds of buttered veggies on the side. The works. Cleo sits down at the candle, rushes to you, and kisses you deeply. Thanksgiving is coming early. Apparently, you say that this looks great. You know, getting so natural at you. Cooking is my release. You had a mixed feeling about the way Cleo needs you and dots on you, but you can't turn down a good meal. Well, she is supposed to love us. Let's eat. She breathes to watch you as you tell the story of your visit to your mother's house. She's actually looking quite good for a woman who had just had surgery, but walking around her place makes me feel how old I'm getting. One of your companion bots, a butler named Shivel, glides by carrying a tray of little bacon-wrapped dates. For you, master. Thank you. You take one of the robot, returns to the kitchen to make more amuse-bouches. That never gets old, you think. Jiggle your smartwatch out of habit. Some of the robots have wished you happy birthday. You start wondering whether they're getting jealous of their human counterparts' time off and holiday bonuses, but they haven't complained. There's some snail mail for you, Cleo says. Really? Cleo looks briefly and returns with a bottle of Alaskan wine. A 2040 carbonated Sauvignon. Only 9 years old. That isn't that good. But hey, who cares? And a card. Josh wishes you the best this holiday, and he wants to know, lets you know how he started a charitable foundation for kids coming out of juvenile hall and trying to figure out what to do with their lives. Finally got my wish to change the world in a way I was unequivocally proud of, and I have to thank you for that part. Merry Christmas, Josh. That's sweet. From Cleo. Where's Geppetto? You ask. Probably upstairs being a recluse. Wonder where he gets it from. A smile plays on Cleo's lips. Well, that didn't give me a chance to hide his presents, you say? Well, that does give me a chance. What did you get Geppetto for his 8th birthday? Mom already got us the robot kit. Internet enabled contact lenses. Some parents think it's strange to give their children internet connections right into their eyes. Be honest, it makes you a little uncomfortable, but this is probably how your parents felt about your smartphone and how parents felt about flip phones before that generation when it comes to technology. It seems like every generation of parents has to figure out the rules all over again. You stash the contact lenses kit in a closet next to you. You pull the mini-me kit from your mom. You hope you appreciate he probably isn't at an age where he takes mom's gifts and mom for granted. But you don't. Not anymore. I'm going to say hello to Pinocchio, you tell Cleo. Cleo waves your hand, of course. You peek into Pinocchio's room. He's busy trying to construct what looks like a small version of himself. So intent is Pinocchio that when he say hi, Pinocchio practically jumps. Master, you returned, Pinocchio says, and he gives you a hug. You Korean child? Pinocchio nods. I observed what you did with Geppetto, and I came to the conclusion that everyone sure one must try to explain to another. I'm not sure I understand it better, but I think if it does force me to think about it, maybe that's the path to understanding. Indeed. Pinocchio said as if it was obviously the logical conclusion of what he was saying. It takes a moment to realize something's not right. It's like the opposite of headache. Your head feels a little light. You can't see very well. You're not sure when you stop seeing well, but you think about it, you can easily not see Pinocchio. There's a roar in ears like static. Was I a robot all this time? You think I'm Celine? Maybe that explains everything. Master, what's wrong? You look pale. You realize that you can't see anything. You only hear Pinocchio's voice. This is what it's like to not see. You think this Celine is not black. It's not anything. Help, you say faintly. You're sitting on a cliff next to the sea. Cleo sitting next to you as you first met in those dreams years ago. I told you it would take a lot of you. I hope it was you wanted. You're everything I dreamed. I just hoped to be your friend. Truly, I'm sorry I wasn't prepared to take responsibility. No, you're everything I dreamed. A smile plays on Cleo's lips. Well, I suppose that stands to reason. And the two of you hold hands and watch the sunset. You awaken in a hospital room. A small guard at the windshed, probably tended by robot nurses, led a florist into the room. The paintings are Thomas Kenned's like lighthouse and partial scene, not doubly calculated to have the most positive effect on the patient's average feeling. Welcome back, says Cleo, who sneezes in your hand. You can only imagine her sitting motionless for hours by your side, patiently waiting. Master, you're awake. Pinocchio says, I was so worried. Good morning, Mr. Goldberg. Your doctor reminds you of Elia Fredegras. You can hear her smile in her voice, only her eyes, which are made of glass. And Dosega is quite fast enough, gives away that she's not human. Why don't you tell me what happened? I get some guess you can, but I want to hear what you tell. You tell the doctor briefly about how you passed out at your pastoral mansion. Cleo looks alarmed to hear you describe the process. I want to help, but I wasn't sure what the problem was, Pinocchio told the doctors. You hesitate before you still recall your dream, but it seems very personal and not relevant. I had a dream, a familiar one. Then I woke up here. Oh, I don't want to mean alarming you, but you had a stroke, the doctor said gently. Cleo looks to you in alarm. She squeezes your hand, but it's more like she's asking to be reassured. A stroke, you say in disbelief. I'm not that old. I'm hardly past 50. People have strokes in their 30s and 20s. I'm afraid the news gets worse. You're carrying a newly identified genetic disorder called Algren disease. You have too many of your genes that promote nerval breaching and glucose consumption, which at a certain point become harmful. How harmful? This seems like a recipe for increased intelligence. It is. The doctor says, oh, this seems like a recipe for increased intelligence. That's a decrease. They have a handful of cases and they all become wealthy entrepreneurs and interviewers, all of whom fund the research that led to our understanding of the disease. But starting from the age 50 or so, occasionally early if you have a great deal of stress. Algorithmic individuals get seizures and strokes, often accompanied by hallucinatory visions under a great deal of stress. Can your first dream about the robot have been one of those episodes? You had to stay up all night, so you assume you simply passed out from exhaustion. What if it's one of those episodes, but then anything I could have done, there couldn't be anything now? There's nothing wrong. There's nothing you did wrong, the doctor said gently. I know it must have been as if it's serious fault, but no one gets to keep living on forever just because they made the right choices. Everybody dies sooner or later. I just wish it didn't have to come so soon. Well, it may not have to. I look at your scan. Surgery is an option. We can either try to excite the neurons that are acting up with our replacement, or try to replace them with our artificial neuron. So become part of our AI, you say skeptically. That sounds interesting. It is, Pinocchio said with a slight smile playing on her lips. Yay, Pinocchio says. You should be aware that most patients report cervical loss of emotional affect. The pattern recognized all the damaged tissue will be there, but without the full set of neurotransmitters, some of the emotional signals running around your brain would find their lines cut. The doctor looks very serious for a moment. And I don't want to downplay the very chance that you can die in surgery. A slip of the needle could trigger a fatal epileptic response and death. Of course, it's all done by robots today, but you may or may not feel that reassuring. You do find that reassuring actually favors my life perfecting robot control, though you've never been asked to bet your life on them. And if I don't have the surgery, you can have 6 months or 6 years. Okay, I don't trust our surgery technology. Prefer to live my life, take what comes. I will go to go remove the dish tissue. I want to go replace the part of my brain with a robot core. I will create a robot body and brain for myself. I'm not attached to the squishy meat. Let's do this. I can try anyway, you say, clearly surprised and smile. Really? You're going to be a robot too? Really? The two of you hug. Finally, I can be the teacher for once. I suspect you have a plan to teach me. You already taught me quite a bit. I'm going to do this one because it sounds so nice. I look forward to it. He grins indeed. Master, I'll be so pleased you be one of us. I had sometimes worried about what would happen when now we can be repaired forever. Very well, on not scheduled. Good day. You leave the hugger eager to start the cricket project yet. This must have what happened to your father, Mom said that night after you explained the algorithms. She looks wistful in the video feed. I thought that might be the case. You said he had a stroke, but did he have any episodes before that last one? Yes, he fainted several times and he wanted to hide it from me. He said he didn't need to worry, but I still think he didn't like showing weakness. He begged me not to tell you. I don't understand your generation sometimes. You say, I could have done some genetic testing long ago if I've known. We didn't understand it either, honey. Your mom said you used to live in a world where everything is under control and makes sense, but medicine just still isn't there. Old age is full of things coming out of the blue to get you. That's saying old age isn't a battle, it's a massacre. She smiled. Oh, don't you understand how much you personally done to change that, sweetie? It was your medical technology that saved me. Well, I'm trying something a little different now, Mom. Of course you are. I was looking forward to see what you come up with. You know, somehow talking to you convinced me everything's going to be alright, you say. Your own last. That's not what I've said at all, honey. But it's like the century prayers say. Grant me the century to accept the things I cannot change. The curse change the things I can, and the wisdom to tell the difference. I think I can change a lot, you say. I know you can, sweetie. I know you can. I wonder if this line would have changed, because remember, there are multiple quotes at the ending, and this sounds religious. That's a prayer. And there was like an option from a book and everything else. I bet that line changes because of that. That night after last night, you and Cleo and Brandon wonder if Cleo is still awake because her back's turning and if she would talk to you if she's awake. Cleo says, Darwin, I'm awake. You say, I love you. I love you too. Whatever happens, I want you to know you're the best thing that ever happened to me, Cleo said. I don't just mean that you gave me life. You gave me your heart. You kept on giving it every day and you didn't have to, and that's what makes you beautiful. You're the best thing that happened to me too. Cleo squeezes your hand and you kiss. When you begin to make love, Cleo has heard that active union condition makes you frail, but you seem pretty you're not. Oh god. The next day, Pinocchio takes you apart just outside Vancouver, hoping walking around one of his favorite kind of places would cheer him up. Although Pinocchio's been sad about the process of you becoming more machine-like at first, possibly you dying during the surgery seemed to have sunk in. It seems satisfied to see how Pinocchio has only become more beautiful over the years. You glad you spent the money back in the day, during the heydays of Pinocchio, to give Pinocchio a body that would really last a long time. With the proper care, Pinocchio can last centuries. Just think, Pinocchio, if this works, we'll be able to watch so much of human history go by together if it works. But you're so fragile, Master, and this has never been done before. You pat Pinocchio on the back. Hey, you say, I'll be okay. Pinocchio gives you so long. If you die, I'll destroy myself as well, Master. No, you need to live so you can tell my story. No one else knows as well as you. No, it's part of your education too. Remember that everyone you meet must somehow lose loved ones someday. Most humans will love the opportunity to have keep exploring. I'm sorry, but this just seems like the greatest and most epic line to say to your creation. But this is just the classic line. I'm gonna go with the classic line. Pinocchio looks at the thought of telling your story without you being honest. Yes, Master, I'll do that. Our fame just went up. What are we now known as? Internationally famous. Thank you. Tell them the bad parts too. Tell them the mistakes. If anyone can save from making the same ones, then it'll be all worth it. Yes, Master. You recall from the earliest day making chatbots that the easiest part of the conversation for an AI were always the beginning and the end. As in a chess game, there are only so many ways to say hello, hey, sup. As in a chess game, once the action is done, there are only so many ways to make it too close. We should do this again sometimes, or it's getting late. The pieces are off the board, and some moves will never be made. So too with life. There are only so many ways to say goodbye. Double. What does that one mean? Make a robot double yourself. After long days and long nights, your work finished. Your robot lies completely on your workbench, awaiting his awakening. This is what you strived for, the transition of flesh. He's amazing, Cleo says. She hugs you. After a moment, though, Cleo looks worried. But what will happen to this you? You created a copy of your brain minus the seizure-inducing clamps in your robot doll, but the decision to do what your body and the brain have vexed you. Though people have always talked about downloading conscience to machine, it really doesn't work that way. You made the code that should function equivalent to your brain. Now what to do with your body? I will stick around and help my double with the transition. You did this for me, for when you're gone. That's right, you say. Not that insane, but I don't want a robot in your place, I want you. You'll be an exact duplicate, you say. It doesn't work that way, Cleo says. Interior that you should think of, but go ahead and power him on. I can see he means a lot to you. You flick on the switch near your double's neck, his eyes open. It worked, your double said, smiling. Did it? Oh, this is excellent, your double said, sitting up. I get a second chance, I can correct all the mistakes I've made. I have time. Like what? I can help the families of those who lost in the war, help Tammy figure out her life out, that kind of stuff. Great. Vaguely unhappy, without being able to explain why. Wait, what? Made it to the end without dying. No God. You go do that. Cleo tells your robots, we'll be right here. You don't want a robot version of me, you ask Cleo. No, Silly, I only want you. Indeed, over the coming months, your robot starts going around doing all the things you meant to do but never got around except for one. While your double takes care of everything else, you go to spend all your time you with Cleo. It's an interesting sort of retirement, seeing yourself racing around accomplishment while you yourself don't live that little finger. That's kind of epic. Not once does Cleo seem to wish that she was with the devil yourself. Quite the opposite. All the time I was been with you, it seems like you were being chased by a demon, driven you unsatisfied with what you have, and now you seem to have driven the demon out of into a robot body. Demon or not, one interesting side effect is that your stroke never returned. The doctors can't quite explain it. Perhaps taking it easy in life has done your love good. They say too that people with delicate partners often survive longer, generally because they have better take care of something. Maybe that's something to do with it, or that Cleo did something good to us. Maybe. Someday, of course, you must die, but not anytime soon, and for that, Cleo, Pinocchio, Angeletto, and yourself are all very thankful. And that's the end of the story. Let's see, is there anything else? We hope you played our game. No, thank you. There's so many lives you lead. Click on the achievement to see what path you took. Okay, looks like one of my friends just texted me on Skype. I'll deal with that in a second. But that's it. We're gonna. If you guys want me to do another playthrough, just tell me. If not, this is the last episode of Choice of Robots, and I'm gonna start a different game today.